Hey everyone, this is me, Time Liar G, and welcome to another Video Games Myths, Urban Legends, and Rumors video. This time it's about RuneScape. I've already uploaded a video like this, but that was pretty much just me reading off my blog a few years ago. So I kind of wanted to remake that video and just talk about some of the more bigger mysteries and, not talk about smaller ones. I just want to mostly focus on 10 or so mysteries, so that's what this video is about. Also, feel free to like the video and subscribe if you want to see me talk about more video game mysteries and secrets. You can also comment what other video games you want to see me talk about as well, or just post your own RuneScape mysteries down below, and I might make a part 2. The first mystery is all the way at the far end of the wilderness where the giant ship is, and this ship is not connected with any quests, any mini-quests, and it's right next to a mysterious volcano as well that also serves no purpose. I'm assuming this is partially unfinished because if you look on the deck of the ship, there's barrels that are colored the same exact way as the ship is. It kind of seems unfinished to me. I don't know. There's also a few skeletons nearby the ship as well. I'm assuming they're connected with it, and one of them has the examine text. It looks like a victim of war, so I'm assuming this was part of the God Wars or something. But if that's the case, it's kind of strange how there's still skeletons there. You think that would get washed away or something. You would see a lot of old forum posts about this ship and the volcano talking about what its purpose is, if there is some sort of Easter egg you can get where, I don't know what would actually happen. Maybe a skeleton would pop out of the ship or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's not much else to say about the volcano and the ship. I guess it could be there for role-playing purposes too. Not everything needs a purpose. My theory on it, I think it could have been for another pirate-related quest, maybe a sequel to one of the pirate quests. Not exactly too sure, but it kind of feels that way, even though it's all the way in deep wilderness. Display tea. This one is pretty interesting. It's one of those items that had trouble transferring from RS1 to RS2. It's kind of like the sea slug from RS1 where you could actually telegrab it. And in RS2, the guy flicks it off your head, but you can't do anything. I don't even think it appears in RS2, actually, now that I think about it. It doesn't appear on the ground or anything. It might. I don't really remember. I haven't done that quest in a long time, but when you read the description of the display tea when you telegrab it in RS1 from the Varrock tea stall, it says, "A nice cup of tea for display only." And apparently people were using this in scams, so Jagex renamed the tea to the regular cup of tea and made the display tea untradeable. I don't know if this was in RS1 they did that or RS2. I have a feeling it was in RS2 it was actually tradable for some time. I'm not sure though. Along with this, the display tea which rested on the tea stall was replaced with a normal cup of tea as well. This is the Karamja warship that everybody already knows about, but I decided I'd talk about it anyway. This was released on the 12th of December in 2002, and it has a play with option, and when doing so you get this dialogue. You pretend to sail a ship across the floor. You soon become very bored and realize you look quite silly. Its examine text says a model of a Karamja warship. This item is considered one of the rarest items in all of RuneScape, as its spawn was removed during the transition from RS1 to RS2. And the only way players could still have this is if they kept the item before the transition. And I think if you drop this on the floor in RS3, I'm reading off script now, I was kind of reading on script there a little bit. You can drop this item in RS3 and it kind of floats above the ground a little bit. Kind of looks pretty odd. I think they changed that option actually, and you can't drop it anymore, it just has a destroy option on, which I'm pretty sure you permanently lose it at that point. But yeah, this is one of the rarest items in the game, so obviously, everybody already knows about it. I think the plates are actually rare, the Broken Dragon plates, or, they released items recently. I say recently, but it was the Golden Scythe around, 2014 or something? I think it was around 2014, I could be wrong. I stopped playing RuneScape around 2011, 2012. I'm not really up to date with any kind of newer discontinued items, unreleased items. This one is about the statue of the warrior in the wilderness. I forgot what level wilderness this is at, but it's very early on. It's just right above Edgeville, I think. And people assume that this statue is a reference to the old knight, a tribute for him. But this was actually after his passing, so unless it was added, before that, which I've never heard about Jagex ever adding a tribute to someone in the game, that's back in the day like that, obviously they have player references now. They have Wooks and the, what was that new guild called that they added for Dragon Slayer 2? I'm not sure. But yeah, a lot of people assume the statue is of the old knight, but it predates his passing, so I don't think they would reference him like that when he was still alive. And if it's not him, who actually is this statue for? Which character is this for? What lore significance does it have, being just seemingly, it's unlike everything else in the wilderness, like I said. Everything else is just burnt and decaying, but this statue just has this green grass glowing around it. All the flowers are blooming around it. It's very mysterious and interesting. The Blurberry badge, or the Gianni badge, was supposedly an item that was released in 2002 that was found in the code of RuneScape, but no reports of players obtaining it have ever surfaced. Its examine text says an official cocktail maker, and the item itself is not within the cache or code of RS2, RS3, or OSRS. It was only in RS1. It's the same deal with the other badge I mentioned, the Gianni badge. Except the description for this one says an official Gianni chef, all lowercase, which most likely means it was unfinished or not in the game. It's strange that the Blurberry badge has capitalization, though. I'm interested to know if these are equipable or not, and if so, what would be the point of wearing them? Cosmetics in RuneScape 1 are non-existent for the most part outside of holiday items for Christmas, Halloween, and Easter. So having another item that appears in your character would be interesting. This one is just so interesting to me because it's unclear whether it actually existed at all or not, and I'm assuming if it did exist, there would obviously be screenshots. I would have a few screenshots in my archives about this, but I have nothing, and nobody else online has anything. Supposedly it just did not get put in the game, but there's always a chance that it was, and not a single player ever managed to get it. It'd be very, very interesting to actually see a screenshot appear one day of someone actually wearing this. When I was younger during RS2, I would always wear a Ring of Wealth around with me, because I always felt like it had a secondary effect. The rare drop table one is very underwhelming, so it would be interesting if there was some kind of other hidden effect, and I've heard other people mention this as well. And even on a Jagex live stream for OSRS, I think it was around 2017 or so, one of the J mods, I think it was Mod Reach, said that it did have an effect on clue scroll caskets, and nobody interjected, nobody said anything else about it. Everybody just nodded their heads as if it was a normal thing, and I don't know if they were trolling or not. I have no clue, but yeah, this clue scroll casket effect, I don't think it actually has an effect on clue scroll caskets. That would probably be pretty noticeable, unless it's a very small change in the drop rates. I'm not sure. But yeah, I always felt like the Ring of Wealth had a secondary effect. It's just interesting to think on. Something I always found funny is that this ring would have been really useful in RS1. It's just, rings weren't enchantable back then. I have a feeling like the Ring of Wealth was meant to be in the game back then, along with other ring enchantments, because it's just very bizarre that, it's not very useful in RS2. Nobody needs a Dragon Medhelm anymore. Nobody needs a Shield Half anymore. So, in RS1, this would have been incredibly useful if you're not going after KBD or whatever. KBD for the Medhelm. If you want the Shield Half, this would have been incredible. Something interesting is that the Ring of Wealth and Treasure Trails release 1 month apart from each other, so, just keep that in mind. You probably heard about the Life Rune and how it was going to be used for summoning in RS1, but have you heard about the Time, Reality, and Illusion Rune? These were a group of 3 runes, and I have no idea what they were going to be used for. They were just completely unused. So they could have been for, a new skill that wasn't in the game that could have just been used for summoning or necromancy. Their examine text says an incredibly rare master rune, and there's sadly no, inventory icon. There's no sprites for them. Obviously no models in RS2 because they were never planned for RS2, at least I don't think so. Probably would have heard about that if it was, or it would have been in cache files. But yeah, I have no theories on this one. It was just interesting that there was going to be 3 more runes in the game. Here's an oddity that I doubt a lot of people know about. These are the gardening boots, and these were released in June 6, 2005. So these boots do not do anything, they're just purely for cosmetic sake. I'm assuming that they were probably meant to do something, they just don't. These drop from farmers out of a 1 in 64 chance, and like I said, it's just cosmetic, and they kind of don't have any cosmetic value to them either. They're kind of just, regular greenish-brown boots. Something that tells me that these were supposed to do something with the farming skill is that it had the same examine text as all the other farming-related items before the skill actually came out. Instead of a pair of gardening boots, the examine text said farming skill coming in July, so this was, definitely connected with farming in some way, as if it was meant to do something, but it just doesn't. There's a letter for a reason as dialogue spoken by Larxus during the Champion Challenge, or, just in the room where the Champions Challenge is. It's very strange dialogue. This only happens when you try to teleport out of the room. I have no idea what this is preventing. I'm assuming that this is here just in case you try to teleport away from a fight, because that would probably consume the champion scroll. But that's just my theory. I'm, not going to try to do that. Not going to try to teleport out. I do have a goblin scroll in my bank, but I don't want to waste that or anything. I know that's like the easiest one to get, but still, I don't want to try that out, to try to teleport out during that. Something else of note is that, this was written in my blog before, but there's a unused human scroll, like a Leon scroll as well, in the game cache files, and I don't know what that would have been used for. You know, I guess he just gives you that after you do all the other champions. I don't know. Don't know what that would have been used for. I also find it odd that there was no reward for this back in the day, and that the Champion's Cape was only a thing in OSRS. You know, during RuneScape 2, you did all this for 8,000 Slayer XP or something. It's very strange. This entire minigame, this distraction diversion is very strange. There's like no point to it whatsoever. Except for OSRS with the cape, obviously. There should be a max... I know I'm not maxed yet, but there should be a max cape with the Champion's Cape also combined. That'd be awesome. I accidentally didn't include this on the first blog I made about RuneScape mysteries, but this is about the God Eggs, and, you know, this was such a big mystery back in the day about, you know, what could these be used for, what are they going to be used for, and, you know, the results of what they turned into in the future was disappointing. I think you just got some kind of God-affiliated bird out of the eggs at some point. I think that was during when Summoning was released. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. I think that's when it happened. But, you know, before this, in early RuneScape 2, when these bird eggs existed, there was nothing you could do with them. It's just very strange. You know, you have the Guthix one green, and then you have Zamrock red, and then, you know, you have blue for Saradomin. And you can't do anything with them. Oh, also in OSRS, of course, you can turn them in for the Evil Chicken outfit as well. It's just very, very bizarre stuff. I love stuff like this in video games where you just have an item that doesn't do anything. And obviously, you don't need to put an item in the game that does something. It could be there for role-playing purposes, but you can't even trade them either, so I guess it's just for collection's sake. And I believe the Rabbit's Foot necklace also increases your chances of getting these. I could be wrong on that. That might be for a different kind of nest. This is the Magic Axe room in Taverley Dungeon. This is a pretty interesting room because in RS1 it actually looks like you have an archway in there from the RS2 login screen before that actually existed. I wonder if that's what they were inspired by to make that room. Again, there's not really too many similarities to it because I think it's a circular room in the RS2 login screen. I think it's a circular room that's shown in concept art. That old CGI art that they made, I love that old art. It was very awesome. But yeah, aside from that, there's actually nothing to do inside this room. I guess it's useful for a Slayer task. I don't know why you would be slaying magic axes, but if you're trying to point boost, I guess. I mean, Turiel doesn't assign those, does he? I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing else to do inside this room. Just a pretty neat looking room. And an RS2, I think it looks less like the archway. I could actually be wrong. I'm just not remembering right now. I didn't look this up before I made this video, so my memory is kind of fuzzy. I can show a screenshot that I took inside that room in RS1, though. I didn't play back in the day, but I do have a screenshot from when the servers were still running, so here it is. I'll put it up on the screen if I can actually find it. It's going to be pretty embarrassing if I can't find it and there's just nothing on the screen, but what can you do? Alright, this is the biggest mystery of all time. I think this was from a postbag from the Hedge letter, but if you look at this image here, you can see Tim just standing there next to a picture of an air rune for some reason. And on the wall, you can just see, you know, Tim and Crunchy right there. He's admiring the picture of himself and his pal Crunchy. And on the bottom of the image, though, you can actually see giant red text and white highlighting. What does that actually say? What does this say on the picture? Write in the comments what you think this actually is, because I have no idea what that could possibly say. Hey everyone, thanks for watching and enjoying the video. If you want to see more videos like this, again, feel free to like and subscribe. And I also added a join button to the channel recently if you want to support me. Again, you don't have to, it's just, you know, it's just there if you want to support the channel and have videos come out faster. If you want to see videos earlier, if you want to participate in unique polls to see what video I'm going to be making next. I'm not going to always have a poll, but sometimes I'll have it there. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Cheers.